Hey guys, back again. I went ahead and pulled the engine. I didn't do a time lapse or anything because I figured probably none of y'all care watching pulling the engine. It takes like 2 minutes. So it turns out I just drained the oil, and I guess I spun a bearing. So it's a good thing I guess that I pinched a water seal, because if not, it would have probably completely destroyed the E-shaft. I'm hoping that I didn't. I have spares, but I'll show you guys the oil real quick. It's pretty bad. There's the oil. As you guys can see, it's got copper flakes in it too. Pretty sad, but I guess it's a good thing that I went ahead and pulled the engine. So next step, tear down the engine. I'm definitely going to go with is a blown coolant seal. Rotor 1 has coolant coming out of it, so hopefully the housing, or hopefully the iron's okay. And it's just a blown coolant seal. It would really suck if it's actually the groove that it sits in. This is fun. Let me see if I can get it to do it again. Okay, so once you get all the bolts out of the oil pan and the flywheel and clutch off, you go ahead and try to stick something very thin. I just use kind of a, I guess a spackle scraper, whatever the heck this thing is. It's like $1. Be careful not to bend your OEM oil pan. Okay, next step, there's going to be two 10mm bolts that hold this on. Go ahead and take the sump off. After you get the sump off, go ahead and take this 19mm front hub bolt out. Be careful because there is a spring and a pellet inside of there. Just watch where they go if they do fly out. I've never really had one do it, but just in case. Front hub bolt is out. See, this is the pellet that I was talking about, and then there is a spring way down inside of here. Then all you have to do is lift up on this. Now there is a key, but that key is extremely long. Don't worry about it falling out. And then you're going to take these 12mm bolts out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and there should be one right under this too. 5 and 6. And then you'll pry up on the front cover to get that off. Go ahead and take off the 17mm nut on the oil pump. So there is a washer that's folded up. Just go ahead and fold that down, impact this off. Next part is pretty crucial, because if you lose the keyway that's in this, you're going to be a world of hurt. You can buy them on Atkins if you do lose it though. So when you lift this up, you need to go ahead and take this off first. And you put that there. And then this slides up with this. And then there is a keyway that holds this. It is very small. Be very careful not to lose that. This is the keyway, just for size reference. It's very easy to lose. It's going to be off the front counterweight. This one is a little bit harder to pull off than the rest of them. I think we're going to go ahead and have to put the camera down to do it. You can slide the keyway out, and this free spins, and it's kind of a little bit easier to lift it up. So you can do that if you want. And some information. There is a bearing on the back side of the counterweight, so this is facing down. Be careful not to pinch this. It's actually more expensive than you would think. And be careful not to lose any of your front stack. If this is the first time that you're pulling an engine apart, go ahead and put those in some Ziploc baggies and just get that out of the way. And then you can pretty easily slide the keyway out. This is what I was talking about, why it's not easy to really lose this one, and you can leave it in pretty much the entire time. And then put that with all your front stack. And then you are going to pull these 12mm bolts out. So I do advise that you leave at least one in, so that when you turn this over, this whole front gear does not fall out, because this is what actually lines up your front rotor, and it makes it a little bit easier to have control while you're taking it apart. I did not do a little bit ago. There is a keyway in the rear of the E-shaft. You do need to go ahead and get that out. I'll go ahead and stick a flathead in there and try to pry it out. Size comparison for the rear Milky Way. And this is what it looks like. Don't lose this one either. Obviously, you don't want to lose anything, but these things are very easy to misplace. And now we're ready to go ahead and get the keg broken up. So take all of these bolts out. There's quite a few of them. Now there is a way to specifically do it, but I just kind of do star pattern across. And don't forget, there are 2 more bolts that hold the keg together. So if you get all these out and then you're trying to pry it apart, it's not going to go anywhere. And if it doesn't, it means you forgot these back 2 bolts. Okay, so once all the bolts are out, you're going to go ahead and you can use a hammer or a mallet, hit up on this ear, try to kind of break it loose. Just know that on the E-shaft, it does have to kind of go up with the bearing. You can take this out and makes it quite a bit easier. So I'll go ahead and take this out to demonstrate that. So we found a little bit of the culprit. So little pinch right there, huge pinch right here. But this one was lined up with the bolt, is probably why this entire rotor was not filled with coolant like the front one. So if you have aftermarket apex seals, if you have either rebuilt it or you've had a shop rebuild it and they put 2-piece apex seals in, you have to be very careful. There are these little triangle pieces. So this is the second part of the apex seal. Each apex seal has one, and if you lose these, you have to get new apex seals. A lot of the times the aftermarket ones are completely okay to reuse, and this housing is actually perfect. I won't even have to mess with this one. There aren't any marks in it or anything like that. It looks very good. So you want to get your corner seals out of the way. Go ahead and take those out because more than likely they are going to fall out, but it doesn't matter where the corner seals actually go. So you can take these out and not really have a huge problem. But just make sure you put these in a place where you're not going to lose them. Probably a Ziploc baggie would be best. Okay, next step is going to go ahead and you're going to go ahead and pull these dowels out. There's one at the bottom and there is one over at the top. So these, there is a specific tool that you can use and it threads in here and you can pull it out. But I have found that the transmission bolts slide in here pretty well. And you can just kind of put it at an angle and then pull up on it. Now, if your engine hasn't come apart in a long time, more than likely, you're not going to be able to do this. Atkins Rotary makes a slide hammer tool, or you can end up making one yourself probably if you have a welder. So these are what the dowels look like. Both of mine are hollow. Oil actually passes through the top one, so that's why there's an O-ring there. And when I show you how to rebuild them and actually put them back together, I'll show you how to make those things stay, because if those fall, you're going to have a massive oil. This part is definitely the tricky part. So the E-shaft actually has to slide up and this plate has to slide up at the same time. So what I normally do is kind of get down on one knee and then raise my knee to lift the E-shaft and then pull this up. And once you pull it up, it does have to move at an angle to go around the lobe right there. See how it kind of sticks over the actual iron right here, and then this side has a ton of room. So once you lift this up, you'll angle it and slide it over. That's why you pull the dowels. It makes it much easier to slide this thing left and right. Well, looks like we found the culprit. Looks like it was slightly pinched, and then the pressure from combustion actually just blew it completely out. I mean, that is a massive water leak. So at least I found the issue, and it's not a cracked iron. Now, I didn't explain, but next you're going to go ahead and pull the E-shaft out, then you'll get the front rotor out. Make sure you don't drop any of the side seals or corner seals or anything. If you do, try to put them back in the space that they're supposed to be in, just so it's a little easier if you're going to reuse the side seals, which most of the time you can. Okay guys, so that's going to wrap it up. I should have a video pretty soon on how to put it back together, and I'll try to include all the torque specs, or I'll do kind of a screenshot of all of them off of like a forum that has all of them. so that way you don't have to try to click through the video real quick. You can just pause it when I have it on the screen. Thanks.